Okay, this is the how-to video on how to take the upper receiver off from the lower receiver on a G&G, one of the new G&G combat machines when your gun is wired to the front, not to the back. Hope you enjoy the What you're looking at production. Hope you enjoy the video. Okay, first step here, anytime you're modifying your gun, before I start, remember, if you're going to do anything to the internals of an airsoft gun, you are going to avoid any warranty on it. So keep that in mind. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. If you have the confidence, you think you know you're going to do it right, go ahead and do it at your own discretion. First two things here though, first off, take the mag out. Second off, you're going to do your safety check. You're going to make sure your safety is engaged. And then you're going to take off, in this case, since it's wired to the front, you're going to take off your front handguard and make sure you got no battery in the gun. Okay, now since we're going in the front of the gun, we're going to proceed to taking the rest of the handguard off and we're going to start detaching the wires. Okay, here we go. Here is the second piece of the actual Magpul handguard here. It's pretty much the same thing for your standard M4 handguard in the front. You're just going to pull the delta ring down and pull the rest of the handguard off, and it should come off just like that. Okay, now with this gun being wired to the front, it's much more complicated, but not really complicated. It's just harder than if the gun was wired to the back, because you actually have to disconnect wires to be able to take the front receiver off. Okay, to do this, you're just going to need needle nose pliers, and as I said, this is where the discretion part comes in, because these two little clamps are really, really hard to get off if you can't do it right. But just, make sure you're grabbing the bottom one, hold on tight, not too much, and pull them apart, just like that. Not too hard, pull them apart, because you don't want to mess up any wires, because it is going to cost you money to replace wires. Okay, well that's pretty much it for the wiring. Now we're actually going to take the receiver off itself. Okay, for this part, you're going to need any Phillips head screwdriver, preferably one you don't really need to use because it's stripped, because you're going to be using this as a point for your hammer to hit with. And then you're going to need the hammer itself. This part, very simple, with the G&G combat machines, you only got to take the front pin off to take the receiver off. So you're just going to put your screwdriver right there. It only should take one or two really small taps. And then you can just pull the pin out from the other side, and it retains, which means it doesn't come out all the way. It just sits inside the body just like that. Okay, now moving on to actually taking the upper receiver off here. What you're going to have to do is you're going to pull the charging handle back just enough that the dust cover doesn't go down. So go ahead and do that and make sure your pin is all the way back and retained but not coming out the gun. And then you can proceed to taking the whole front assembly of your gun off, and then make sure that your wires right here in the front, be careful when you're taking those off. Okay, here's the lower receiver of the gun. As you see here, you can see the whole pneumatic blowback system here, and the gearbox and all that. Keep a really good eye on that, because you are going to have to let go of this, so if anything flies off, that way you know where it's going. Okay, seems like it's doing good for me, so I'm going to just set this to the side. As I said, do that really, really softly. You don't want anything to come off. Okay, now you got here to the upper receiver. Today we're going to be switching out the standard G&G barrel, which I believe is a 6.05 or 6.04, and we're putting in a Mad Bull 6.01, same length. And then we're changing out the G&G bucking for a Systema bucking. Also, the only thing you're really going to need for this installation part is silicone oil. Very important to have silicone oil. Okay, now you actually have the hop-up unit in the gun. Should be fairly easy to pull out, just like that. Okay, just make sure there wasn't no spring or post spring for right here. Looks like there isn't. Okay, this part, you want to make sure that your hop-up is all the way off, because when you take this off, you don't want your little spacer to go anywhere. So proceed to turning your hop-up all the way off. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and very, very gently twisting the barrel off. Once you do that, your little C-clip is what I call it, is going to pop off. And then you can pull your barrel all the way out. Make sure that you don't see the little spacer going anywhere. If your bucking doesn't go out all the way, just use your needle nose pliers right here and just pull the bucking out. As I said, G&G do have really decent buckings, but I'm just, I bought the Systema just to see what this new Systema bucking can actually do. Okay, so here we go. We've got our type bore out of the packaging. If you want to, just put your old type bore back in the packaging. You put your new type bore in. Okay, first thing, you're going to get your silicone oil and you're going to spray the end of the barrel right here. Just a little bit, not much. Just enough to put that bucking on nice and neatly. As I said, Systema bucking anywhere between $6 and $8 depending on where you find it at. This goes right on just like that. Make sure it's put on all the way. And then on the bucking itself, we're going to spray the bucking real good because this has to go through a really tight fit in the G&G hop-up system itself. Okay, now you're going to get your barrel spacer. Luckily, Systema comes with one, or you can just use the one that came with your gun's barrel. That should just go right on. And put that right in between the spacing and the bucking. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. Because you got the piece right here where the C-clip hits, and then, okay, there you go, the spacing where the C-clip hits in, and then your bucking, put that out of the way of that way your C-clip can get in, and then you push your spacer in. Okay, going back out now, since you've got everything nice and lubed up, you're going to go ahead and get your hop-up system. Remember, you're going to line the C-clip up that way, it can clamp right into place. So the little groove that your bucking got on right here, you're just going to line it up to the bottom of the hop-up system. And just nicely, neatly push this into the hop-up system. Okay, luckily mine got in first try. Sometimes you're not going to see that. Sometimes it's going to be harder for you. There you go. And then all you're going to do is get your C-clip, put that right into place, and then push your barrel spacer right into place. Just like that. Okay, here we go. Now we got all our new pieces put on our hop-up system. We're going to go ahead and proceed to putting this back on inside the upper receiver now. As I said, be careful. Always be careful because this does void warranty. Okay, so just push your hop-up system all the way back in the gun. All the way back in. Okay, after we do that, set that to the side. We're going to come back over here with our upper receiver. And I'm just going to skip through this part because I got to put the wires back through the receiver, but you pretty much got the gist. We're going to put the upper receiver back on the gun. Here we go. But yeah, make sure your dust cover is closed. Just like that, and make sure you put your wires back through the delta ring. Okay, here we go. Now we got the two receivers put back together. Just pull on these wires. Make sure you got them all the way through. And good way to refer to that is to see how much you had going through before. If it looks like it's the same, if you need to measure it out from the delta ring to the end of the wires right here. Just simple stuff just to make sure you're doing this right. Another way to make sure you're doing it right, make sure your charging handle still goes down with ease. That way the receivers are put back together. And then after that, I've already got the retaining pin pushed back in, the front body pin. Go ahead and do that. After that, we're going to get our wires again. And you remember, red on red, black on black. Really easy stuff here. If you can't get this part right, you shouldn't be taking the gun apart at all. Okay, so that's it. Now after that, we're going to get our top handguard. We're going to put this back on the gun. It's a two-hand operation. But there you go. And after that, if you want to, go ahead and put your battery back in. I'm not going to do that though, since I am not anywhere close to be shooting. Okay, so then put your bottom handguard back on, and that's it. You're ready to go. There you go. That's how you put a new type bore and bucking. Just that's pretty much how you get to the hop up, and that's how you disassemble the G&G when it's wired to the front. Hope this video has helped you out some. I know they've had a couple videos out there, but of course that's been to the back. I just want to make sure no one makes that mistake where they're trying to open up the gun and forget to do the wires and mess up the wires. Okay, this has been a What You Looking At production. Make sure you subscribe, comment, rate, request, and make sure to look out for the next accuracy video on this gun. What You Looking At? I'm out. Okay, here's a little add-on here to the end of the mod video. Before the mod with the type bore and the Systema bucking, we were getting about 320 to 325 FPS with this gun on .20s. So we're going to see what we can get now. See what the difference is. 342. 347. Had to line the gun up there, my fault. 347. 350. 345. 351. 350. 348. 349. So we're seeing right at about 350 FPS, which is pretty good. I've put enough BBs in this gun to set up the spring already, so this gun's FPS has gone up about 20 to 25, which will make somewhat of a noticeable difference out on the field when it comes to range. So that's always good to see. So now I can use a .25 gram BB and get the same FPS as I was before on a .20. So at the same time, you know, accuracy and all that's getting a whole lot better once you put a tight bore in. Just thought I'd show you this. Even with a G&G, you can raise the FPS when putting in a new bucking and a new tight bore. Okay, that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed.